There are many concepts in Python and programming that at the beginning are quite hard to understand. In this video, I'm gonna explain you two of them, the instance and the class. To make a better explanation, I'm gonna use a practical example where I will compute a linear regression, which is the mathematical equation that we see here, from this data frame, where we want to calculate the number of accidents based on alcohol. Our goal then is to calculate these numbers of the mathematical equation. As always, we must think about the function we need to solve certain problems in programming. The functions are in libraries. In which library can we search? The linear regression is a topic of machine learning. Therefore, we look within the Scikit-Learn library. From the Scikit-Learn library, within the linear model module, we import linear regression. But pay attention to one thing. We don't have a function. We have a class that later we need to instantiate into a variable. In other words, we create a copy of the prototype source codes for linear regression class in the model LR instance. If we ask Python the information of this instance, we don't find the numbers of the mathematical equation. That's because we haven't yet computed the function that actually computes the numbers. They are asking for x, which is df crashes, alcohol, and then the y equals df crashes accidents. We compute, we ask again for the information within the object, and now we can see the numbers of the mathematical equation, 2.03 and 5.85, as we see here. Now, we should ask ourselves, why do we need an instance? To save new data in the memory and to compute more than one linear regression in the same script, for example. If we would have done the linear regression fit without creating any instance, by the time that I want to ask for the numbers of the mathematical equation, they were gone. We didn't assign a location in the memory in which we store the information as we execute the functions, as we did in the previous lines where we executed the function through the instance to save the objects that were calculated here and here. Another reason to create instances is that in the same script we may have two linear regressions. In the case that we have, for example, another data set, and now we want to compute a linear regression to calculate the tip based on the total bill, we create another instance, we assign the class linear regression, and then we access the function x df tips total bill, and then df tips tip. If I ask the numbers of the mathematical equation, now I can see different numbers than the one that I have in the previous linear regression. In conclusion, the class is the prototype that is in the source code of your computer, and the instance is a copy of that prototype that you use to store more information as you execute the function. Another thing that you should learn is that this pattern of creating an instance to later execute the functions is applicable to any machine learning model of the Scikit-Learn library. For example, if I would have liked to do a random forest model, from Scikit-Learn, ensemble, import random forest, I see as well that it's a class. So I need to instantiate the class to later access the function that computes the mathematical equation. And now, when I ask the objects within this instance, I have the decision trees that were computed, the mathematical equation. And the same would happen for the support vector machines. From Scikit-Learn, SVM, I import the class, I create the instance, I access the objects within the instance, I see some numbers, but this is not the numbers of the mathematical equation because I haven't yet fitted the model. Now that I fit the model, I have the numbers of the mathematical equation calculated. Now that you understand this concept of creating an instance of a class, and concretely within the Scikit-Learn library, you will be able to create any type of machine learning model with this library, because the process is the same. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comments of the video, and I will happily respond to them as soon as I can. I hope that you liked this video. If so, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to not miss the next videos that I have prepared for you to understand Python and data science.